Hello everyone. Do Kenyan government systems work? Why do I ask this? There have been complaints and complaints and complaints and complaints all through the years about the way services are done, if they are done, and the continuous scandals that continue to be. And the question is, do Kenyan government systems work? This is what I want to explore. How did I get here? I wanted to know what is holding us back to be a first world country. Is it corruption or is it culture or is it mixed up together? So I looked at corruption and then I looked at definitions of some aspects of our culture. And now I want to look at a system. Do we have a system? Where did we pick it from? We'll first start with some definitions. What is government? It has many definitions. This is the one I have. It's a group of people who officially control a country, and they do it through a system which is used to control a country, city, or a group of people through activities that involve controlling a country, city, or group of people. What is a system? It's an organized. Organized means able to plan things carefully, keep things tidy, and work effectively. Or established, which means accepted or respected because of having existed for a long period of time. Procedure, a set of actions that is the official or accepted way of doing things. Before colonization, there were villages, there were leaders and elders, there was a system, men and women had their roles and each worked together. It had its advantages and disadvantages during that time. There were also empires. There probably weren't empires in Kenya, but there were empires and there were kings and there were servants. Was it about doing work for the king? Were the people in poverty and the king rich? Of course, during this time also there were advantages and disadvantages. Colonization came. What's colonization? The act of taking control of an area or a country that is not your own, especially using force and sending people from your own country to live there. With colonization, the British systems were established, and there are benefits to this. There's infrastructure and there was trade. Of course, there was trade before, but then this was a different kind of trade. There's a different kind of medical and technological knowledge that was brought in. There was literacy that was encouraged. This is the time probably the missionaries also came, and there was that problem of the relationship that the missionaries had with the colonialists. And of course, there's always the debate of, I have to mention this, where people reject the Bible because the missionaries collaborated with the colonialists, but then yet people don't reject the education that the colonialists brought. Anyway, and then there was sowing of seeds for democratic institutions and systems of government. Disadvantages of colonization. I'll mainly talk about the treatment. Do we treat each other as we were treated during colonization? Did the abuse become the abuser? Disadvantages of colonization. Even as I go through them, see if they are the things that are still practiced to date. So entitlement. This is the belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. Terror, extreme fear. Coercion. This is the action or practice of persuading someone to do something by force or threats. Forced assimilation. This is the process of taking in and fully understanding information or ideas. That is forcing that. And then there's looting, where you rob, especially on a large scale, and usually by violence or corruption. And then there's harm, physical injury, especially that which is deliberately inflicted. Colonization was about bringing civilization or enlightenment. It brought about ethnic rivalries. It brought the concept of master and servant, which probably existed even before. And then there was blacks and whites are not equal. We continue with the aftermath of colonization, that whiteness is the measure of all culture. White is right, everything else is culture. We judge behavior by whether it conforms to whiteness or not. Getting rid of white supremacy, that is the state of condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status, is difficult. And the way Black people perceive themselves has been profoundly affected by centuries of conditioning, so too with the way white people perceive themselves. And we have been soaking in this lie for so long. We get independence, we have the British system, we have the Kenyan culture, we have the after effects of colonization and how we're treated carrying on, and we are trying to move forward to progress as a country. Hopefully, we were progressing to be a first world country. I don't know. But are we independent? There is a video that talks about the new Scramble for Africa. And one of the things it talks about is the imperial power. Now, imperialism is defined as a policy or ideology of extending a country's rule over foreign nations, often by military force or by gaining political and economic control of other areas. So what happens with such a power? So it builds ports to send goods to their own market. Now, this also happened during colonization, such that a lot of infrastructure was based on being able to transfer material to the colony country and then secure supply of resources for piece of infrastructure. And loan materials, blueprints, engineering workers, all are from the imperial power. And so the weak doesn't change, and there's always an elite that is benefiting from what is going on. Are we still independent? All the people that colonized or may have not colonized, are they out to help Africans help themselves? Now, the French did not colonize Kenya, but they colonized a part of Africa. And when they come in, they say they help build democratic institutions. And then the Americans come in and say they're helping to build security structures. And then the Chinese come and say they're trying to help build economic structures. But then yet Africans continue to feel squeezed, and Africans continue to live out other countries' dreams. We have government systems and they are running as it seems. The question is, are the government systems helping to bring good life satisfactions to the Kenyan people? How does life satisfaction look like? What is life satisfaction defined as? Well, there are many definitions. I picked this one. It's having a high measure of the country's economic output that accounts for its number of people. That is GDP per capita. It's having a healthy life expectancy. It's allowing for freedom to make life choices. It's giving good social support. It's generosity and the absence of corruption. Can the Kenyan government systems work if it followed its constitution? Join me in my next video as I talk about that. Bye!